Hello and welcome to Sage Garden Ecovillas. It's March 22nd, 2026, and I'm looking at a tropicals patch that we just did work on over the last few days. Before we started, this patch was thick with leucaena trees. That's these trees you see here. You might say it looks pretty thick right now, and that's true. We cut out half of the leucaenas that were growing here, maybe a little bit more than half. So it's quite a bit different now than it was a few days ago. And I want to give a shout out to Katie for helping with this, and also to Carl and Bonnie. Thank you guys so much for your help with this. It's been a lot of work over the past few days, and your help is greatly appreciated. Thank you. So what did we do? Like I said, we thinned out the leucaenas. We divided those leucaenas into the woody branch material and the leaf material. This pile of leaves was much bigger. We've taken a lot of the leaves and spread them out on the floor of this forest patch as mulch and fertilizer. So we're cycling those nutrients back into the soil, back into this whole food web in the tropicals patch. And of course, we planted a lot of things over the past few days, including in the front you see aloe, mint. What you can't see are we sowed dichondra seeds, and we also sowed pigeon pea seeds toward the front here. So it'll be interesting to see. The mint will spread as a ground cover, so will the dichondra. Both of those tolerate the shade pretty well, so it'll be interesting to see whether one takes over, the other one gives up, or maybe they'll both sort of mark out their own territories, or maybe they'll coexist with the mint on top of the dichondra. We'll see what happens. And then back a little bit further, you see moringa cuttings. So we call those stakes. You take the cutting and just put it right in the ground. Wherever you see a moringa cutting, there are also nearby moringa seeds. So this moringa cutting has in its vicinity maybe 4 to 8 moringa seeds. So the point is, we're hedging our bets here. One of them is going to take, and we'll end up with a moringa tree in this area. We also have sugarcane. We have tea, that's Camellia sinensis, and yerba mate. What you can't see is ginger rhizomes underground here. So those gingers will pop up. Going one row back from there, we have lemongrass, banana, papaya, and what you can't see is turmeric. We've got turmeric rhizomes buried in this third row back as well. And then in the final row in the back, we've got bamboo, more lemongrass, and we also sowed cowpea seeds. So the timing of thinning out the leucaenas and planting new plants is not accidental. We did this on purpose. We cut the leucaenas back, and then very quickly we planted a bunch of plants. As we cut back a plant like the leucaena tree, we cut it down to the ground. That root system then sends hormonal signals out into the soil to say it's time to grow. It's basically a growth hormone. It's a natural growth hormone. And in the forest, what happens is when a tree falls over, those hormonal signals naturally go out to all the plants in the vicinity that share the same root space. And it basically has the effect of telling all those other plants, now is your chance. There's a hole in the canopy, so grow as fast as you can and take advantage of that light and become part of the canopy. So we're taking advantage of those community hormonal signals to encourage all the plants that we just planted to grow really quickly. And that'll give us more biomass and, of course, more production from things like the lemongrass that will eat the leaves from those as tea, and then ultimately eat the hearts as well. And what else does it do? It also creates a canopy system that is going to eventually replace the leucaenas. So in the long run, the leucaenas will not be here anymore. They're here for now, and they're helping to regulate the amount of light and regulate the temperature and humidity in here. So they're very valuable right now. But ultimately, the plants that we've planted, the palette that we've selected, are such that the tallest plants are going to be what you call an emergent stratum. These are the plants that love to have full-time sun all day long. Under them will be the high stratum. Those are plants that like sun most of the time, like to have a little bit of a break from the sun from time to time. Under them, the medium stratum, those would be the plants that like to live in dappled sunlight, followed by the low stratum, things that live on the floor. They like deep shade, maybe an occasional kind of flick of sunlight passing over them from time to time. So when that final canopy develops, and as it's developing, we're going to cut the rest of the leucaenas out of the way. And so those will gradually be replaced by a more complex and diverse canopy system. And there will be a massive amount of photosynthesis happening here at that point because of all of those plants coexisting in a small patch of land. This patch is only 8 feet deep by 16 feet long, but there's going to be a lot of plants partitioning the resources within here, including water, light, and the nutrients from the air and the soil. And so what that's going to do, since we're going to have so much photosynthesis happening, the plants will all exude what they call root exudates. These are basically sugars and starches that feed the microbes under the surface of the soil that will rev up the subsoil food web itself. And all those organisms eating each other, pooping, dying, those will gradually, from time to time, those will provide organic nutrients to all the plant roots, because all of those organisms under the surface of the soil, they love living right around the roots of the living roots of the plants. And so as they do their thing, they will be feeding the plants and just cycling the nutrients, which many of which come out of the air, like carbon and nitrogen, of course, come out of the air. So, like I said, we'll have this more complex canopy of tropical species and compatible species. And over time, that'll replace the leucaena canopy. And I'm excited to see how this thing grows up in the next couple of months and the next couple of years. So stay tuned.